All right, counting down. 3, 2, 1.
We're going to start over.
Okay.
My mic is positioned right in, and I'm still trying to get this desk set up, and I'm going to tear it apart tonight to stain it. It's positioned where I can't see the notes. I mean, literally, I got a microphone and cords right in front of my notes. Okay, do it again. There you go. It's much better. Thank you.
Okay. Three, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 month behind podcast for the week of 3/2018. I'm Pat.
And I am Sean.
And this week we are Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, because somewhere in the last year I've gotten interested in F1 racing, and F1 racing starts tonight.
What's got you interested in F1 racing?
Well, I've always been curious about it. Okay, because I mean, it is, despite what our southern brethren think, F1 racing is the best racing in the world. Okay, equipment wise, vehicle wise, driver wise, it just is. Those guys make more. It takes $20 million a year to fund a NASCAR team. Okay, 20 to 30 to do it right. It takes to just run an F1 team. It's about $200 million, and to do it right, it's about $300 to $400 million.
That's a lot of money,
dude. Those cars they're highly advanced. They're cutting edge technology. There's a show on, and I tell you, one of the things that really shoved me over the edge, and I've always kind of been interested in it, but there's a show on Amazon about McLaren last year, and it's basically the McLaren preseason, trying to get their cars ready, and it's only like 4 episodes. Each episode's like 30 to 40 minutes. It's a really good show, and I watched that and got even more interested in McLaren, and McLaren and F1. I've always been a Lewis Hamilton fan, and there you go, man.
Huh? Okay then.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge racing fan. I mean, I've been out to Barber Motorsports here in Birmingham a couple times to watch. What was it? The Mercedes.
At the time, I think we saw the Daytona prototypes run. Now they've got the Indy cars out there.
Yeah, and I like. I came up at a time when Fast and Furious was a big thing, and it was brand new. So I've always enjoyed like street racing and the tuner cars and stuff like that. But
which we saw one of those run a couple times, didn't we? Saw some of those races.
I think so. We saw like the Mustangs and stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, here in the South, NASCAR is king. But I've never found NASCAR to be enjoyable or entertaining in any.
To enjoy NASCAR, and really to enjoy almost any sport, you have to be involved in the characters in it. Okay, you have to be involved in the players or the drivers or whatever the case may be. And that's one of the reasons we like comic books, because we're interested in what's going on in it. We like what's happening there, so we're interested in it. And it's the same with sports. You have to become a Jimmy Johnson fan or become a Kyle Busch fan, and then you start following that team, and that leads you to following the race.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like NASCAR because turning left is boring, and I don't particularly care for the crowd it brings. So,
And that's why we were talking about this before we went on the air. That's why I've never been to a Leonard Skinner concert, and that's why I've never been to a NASCAR race. I'm sure I will at some point, but I really want to go. And there's a couple of tracks I'd really like to see, but I haven't yet. No.
Right. Yeah. Well, if you want to tell us about what sports and kind of racing you enjoy, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6 monthsbehind@gmail.com.
The website is www.6monthsbehind.com. Let me comment about the website. Last week, you requested the Secret Empire 10 notes. And I went looking for the video for Secret Empire number 10 from ABC/Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
No exaggeration. I probably spent 20 minutes looking for it. Okay. I can find certain episodes. I could find 8. I could find Omega. I think I even found 9. I can't find 10. Either they didn't record it, or it is you can't search, you can't find it.
Yeah, it's buried so deep that
right.
you'll never find it.
Now there are 2 or 3 people that I like, and even if I'm not logged into my internet, I can find Rob stuff on Comics Explained. We can find CBG 19, Comic Book Girl 19. What's her YouTube page?
It's Comic Book Girl 19.
Is it Comic Book Girl 19? Okay. Yeah. You can Google her stuff, find it instantly. Okay. Yeah. Then you just got to pick the video you want. There's another guy I like, and I can't remember what he is. I want to say it's Comic Historian, but I don't think that's right. But from anywhere, I can put, I can put Comics Explained, Secret Empire 10 in there. Boom, there's the YouTube video.
Yeah.
If ABC and Marvel and Nick Spencer and Tom Preport and the guy that's hosting this show made this video, it is unfindable.
A lot of that stuff I wasn't even aware existed until you brought it to my attention some months ago. And I've never understood that. Sometimes there's stuff that's on YouTube that I just don't, are they not promoting it or what's going on?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I be watched. So, put it under a YouTube channel that I can find.
It is not rocket science, brother. It's not. And I went to ABC's YouTube channel. I went to ABC's homepage. I went to the ABC Good Morning America page, which is where the whole thing launched. I searched it by every way I could think of. Brother, I looked and looked and looked and couldn't find this thing. It just, I found everything but, man. It ain't there. And if someone could find it, feel free to send us a link and I'll put it up. But I couldn't find it.
That's crazy to me.
It is. And I think I wound up putting up Rob's video for number 10 and the Omega thing. And they talk about Omega, but they don't talk about, number 10 when the whole thing concludes. Anyway, it's there on the website, www.6monthsbehind.com, where we also talk about spoilers. And we will be talking about spoilers this week. So as we talk about news and talk about what came out this week in Marvel Comics, if you don't want to know it, now it's time to turn away or go read stuff and come back to us or, do something.
Absolutely. And another disclaimer, if you couldn't tell by the sound of my voice, I am under the weather. So if you hear me sniffle or sneeze or cough or clear my throat, well, I'm sorry. I'm going to do my best to hit the mute button when I can, but I may not get to it.
It happens. It happens. It's not the end of the world. As I move my computer and iPad and everything around my desk. Yeah.
Right.
So, all right, here we go. Secret Empire Omega. Unless you had another news story.
No. Yes, Secret Empire Omega. It's the final wrap-up issue of Secret Empire. This is it. We're done. We're done with Secret Empire. We're going to be moving on to Marvel Legacy. There's actually some really cool stuff going on in Marvel Legacy. And yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah, there really is.
But excuse me. But starting off in Omega, the war is over, and all around the country, it's regaining what it's lost, healing, rebuilding. But Steve Rogers, Captain America, finds himself breaking into this black site prison off American soil. Why is he breaking into a prison? Well, he wants to meet with the sole prisoner of the black site, who is Hydra Cap. He wants to have a final conversation with him about why he did what he did.
Yeah, it's and it becomes a back and forth where they're discussing not just the actions of him, but the politics behind it, the actions of the heroes.
Right.
And go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the majority of this issue is the two of them having this conversation.
It is the end of Nick Spencer. It's Nick Spencer explaining what this was, which is the American people were very willing to go along with HydroCap and welcomed him essentially with open arms. And you can make the case that the same thing is happening in America now, which is why this book was so controversial and had so many problems selling. And they have this conversation back and forth. There's the death of Scarlet Witch, the funeral for Scarlet Witch, a couple of other things. But go ahead. I was buying you time while you sniffled.
Yeah. So Steve's talking to him about he's going to pay for his crimes, and HydroCap says, technically I didn't really commit any crimes. I didn't ask for this power. I didn't take it. You gave it to me. Congress passed the SHIELD Act, and it said the event of an emergency, the director of SHIELD could take absolute control of the country, which they did. He didn't build the SHIELD. That was Maria Hill and Carol Danvers. He didn't campaign for this. It was given to him willingly. Yep. Now, he exploited it. He certainly, as we saw throughout this entire event leading up to it, he manipulated events to put himself in that position. So he's being a little disingenuous. But at the end of the day, they willingly put their faith in the hands of Steve Rogers. Not understanding what was actually going on.
Right.
Then he's talking about how he cost him a lot of his friends, Jack Flag, Rick Jones, Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. That's when we go to a scene with her funeral. Hawkeye has like a complete and total breakdown on national television about it. Bucky's in Madripoor. But Bucky has figured out that maybe Natasha's not dead. He's in Madripoor and witnesses the the assassination of a military leader who is trying to become the president of Madripoor, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes.
When suddenly a bullet shoots out of nowhere and kills him, and Bucky realizes he knows he knows that the placement, the shot, the timing, it's Natasha. Right. So Natasha may not be dead.
No, she may not. It's to be decided. To be decided with books that are still coming out now, 6 months later. So,
yeah. Back with the two Steves, HydroCap is talking about how for just a moment he was able to shape the world in the way that he saw it, the way that Hydra saw it, and how beautiful it was. And he mentions a little later on that, now that this dream, this Hydra dream has been realized, it's not just something far off. It's not something to be idealized. It happened, even for just a moment. It happened. And now it's not an issue of achieving a goal. It's about taking it back, regarding Hydra loyalists. Meanwhile, in Newtian, they're destroying the city, and the United States is taking back power in Newtian.
What is Emma Frost? Is she a villain? Is she a hero, or is she just Emma Frost?
Oh no, she's a villain. She's crazy. She was manipulating these events the whole time.
Yeah, but Hank McCoy's talking to her like she's, just kind of. She and Hank McCoy are pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Hank McCoy these days.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about Emma Frost, look back at his actions during the war with the Inhumans.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. And Hank has always been, not always, but in the last decade or so, he's always been conflicted, but Hank is, what's the word? Hank has become tainted by all the things he's had to endure through his life, much like Scott Summers, except Scott Summers just went crazy.
Right. So as we recap this book, before we move on to recapping the entire series, Andrea Sorrentino's art, both in this issue, there's some pages in this issue that are just gorgeous. The color, the art, it's really good. Her art on the whole series has been good. There's some other pages here that are drawn by other artists. The 2 pages from New 10 are drawn by someone else. The page with the Punisher is drawn by someone else. Pages with the Punisher. This art's really good. It's not a style that I would usually embrace, but she so captures the spirit of what's being written, for lack of a better term, that it just is really good, man. I mean, it's not that it's crisp art like Alex Ross or Mike Deodato Jr., but it conveys the story very well. Does that make sense?
Right. It's really good visual storytelling.
Yes. Yeah. So what do you think now completely done, whole series done? What do you think of it?
Well, we're not done recapping the book.
Oh, I thought you were.
No. So the conversation between the 2 Steves shifts to what they're going to do now. And Hydra Cap basically says, look, you're going to call this your grand revolution or whatever, but things are just going to go back to the way they were. It's going to, there's so much blood on your hands already. It's just going to dissolve into chaos. And, you have these arrogant people running around in masks, appointing themselves purveyors of justice, and who's going to hold you accountable? What does, people are going to go back to the way things were, and then they'll remember. They'll remember that for a moment they controlled their own destiny. And that's when, this war is not over. Hydra will always be there. There are plenty of people in the country who willingly gave their lives over to Hydra with both hands. So, yeah. Of course, there's the whole thing with, people are afraid of Captain America now that he's tainted the legacy of Captain America.
Yeah, that's something they're going to deal with in Captain America's book for a long time to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And even as we see here, they actually, I don't know why they're busting into the prison here to throw Hydra Cap up against the wall, but they are. And as they do, the soldier that pins him against the wall whispers in his ear, "Hail Hydra." And Steve, Captain America, says, this is a war that never ends. We'll always be fighting this war. So, and they're right. I mean, in the face of fascism, as we're seeing now in our own country, it didn't die with Hitler. It didn't die with the Red Skull. It will always be something to be fought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Constant vigilance.
Yes.
As for the whole series, I enjoyed it. I think people gave it more grief than it really deserved. I think there are a lot of people who have strong opinions about this book who actually never read it. And I think people should read it because it is relevant to our current time that we live in now. And there are a lot of people out there who will say, well, it's about politics and I don't like politics in my comic books. And to those people, I say, go do something else. Comic books, Marvel comics in particular, have always from their beginning been about social commentary. The concept of a superhero to begin with is steeped in all kinds of meaning and to what it is to be a hero. So if you just want to watch dudes in tights and capes punch bad guys, I think that's a really vapid opinion.
I was just at the library a couple hours ago and saw they had 2 of them. Golden Age actually 3 Golden Age Superman omnibus Teen Titan Golden Age Omnibus and Batman Golden Age Omnibus were all sitting on the shelf. Go read one of those if you don't want politics in your comics.
Yeah, and even then you're going to have a hard time, because if you want to go back to read the original Captain America stuff, he's literally punching Hitler in the face on the cover. So
this is true. This is very true.
I would encourage everyone to take their preconceived notions, hang them on a hook, and read this series now that it's all out. Just 1 through 10 or 1 through Omega. You don't even necessarily have to read the Captain America stuff, although it helps. Yeah, and just make the assessment for yourself.
Yeah. Before we move on, something I wanted to discuss, before we move on to our next comic, I should say, something I wanted to discuss in the news notes, and I forgot about it because I didn't write it down. That happens a lot when I don't write things down. Comixology had another sale this Friday.
Oh, yeah.
For the second week in a row. And I don't know if you ever glanced at what was on sale.
I did.
But in a few minutes, we're going to do the Venomverse book. A couple of weeks ago, they had all 5 series of the Venomverse for 99 cents. This week, basically, if it's in trade in recent Marvel, it's on sale for 99 cents. And there's not a lot. But I have 2 questions. Number one, it's a great way to read Marvel comics. Or that's really a statement, not a question. Number 2, why would you ever pay full price on Comixology or even at the newsstand? Just wait for the thing to be discounted for 99 cents at some point in the next couple of months.
Well, that assumes that they're always going to be doing these 99-cent sales. I think they're doing these sales because their sales numbers on the newsstand are not good. Although they seem to be rebounding a little bit.
Yeah, but and to that point, they also always do them at the end of a financial quarter, which is where we're at in March.
Oh, that's true too, I suppose.
Yeah. So someone pointed out to me a while back that, toward the end of each quarter, they do that a lot just to generate cash and income.
Yeah, just to bump their sales numbers a little bit, I guess.
Sure.
Yep. I mean, if you want to read it that way, you can. I think it's a good way to, if you're picking it up in print, to read digitally, or maybe there's something that you wanted to pick up in print that you just didn't want to spend the cash on. It's a good way to fill in your collection.
Yeah. For instance, I really wanted to read the Old Man Hawkeye story that's coming out now. And yeah, I'm not going to pay $3.99 an issue for it, because somewhere I've got to draw the line, on how many series I'm buying. Right. But when that's collected and I can buy it from Comixology, I may even pay full price for it. I may get to trade, actually, because I want to read it that bad. If I bought every book I wanted, I'd be one of these guys handing Jason or Neil $50 every week.
Oh, dude, if I could buy every comic book I wanted every week, I'd be handing them several $100s every week.
I see guys do it, man. I mean, they'll be there with a stack of 20 books and, hand them $50, $100. I saw a girl give them $220 one time. And she had a big stack, but it wasn't that big. I mean,
well, comic books are $4 a pop,
Yeah. You get 50 books. You let a couple of weeks of books stack up, and suddenly you got 50 books at $4 a pop, and that's $200, man.
Yeah. Believe me, I know. One time I let my pull list at Bob's lapse a little, probably about 6 weeks. And he called me. He's like, "Hey, man, you coming in?" I was like, "Oh, dang. Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow or Wednesday or something like that." No joke. It was like $120.
Yeah, man. Never let that happen, dude. Never, ever, never.
It's just, I got out of the habit of coming in on Wednesdays, and I forget. I don't know. I think I was working full time and I was in school at the same time, and it just went out my mind. But yeah, dude, if I could walk into a comic book store, money no object, and write a pull list, I'd be handing them folks $300 a week. Between Marvel, DC, and all the indie and small press books that I like.
Yeah. Now, see, I'm about to. Jessica Jones and Defenders are both ending, so I won't be shelling out money for those every week. And I'm going to add the Deathstroke series that's about to cross over with Batman.
You enjoying that Deathstroke series?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not yet. I'm about to. Now, I read some of it a while back as part of the Rebirth. No, I got I bought a trade a while back during one of those Comixology sales. And the current Deathstroke, it was a Teen Titan Deathstroke crossover. And the Jericho Imperative, I want to say. No, the Judas Contract.
Oh.
Anyway, something like that. Really good, man. That Deathstroke book is good. And I look forward to it. It's the first time he and Batman have ever really fought, if you will. And, just him and Bats one-on-one. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Christopher Priest is actually writing that Deathstroke book, so I'm sure it is good.
Yeah. I got caught up on Batman this weekend, too.
Also really good.
Really good, man. Tom King's doing it. So here, let's talk DC.
Okay.
This is Tom King writing Batman, and he's got Batman and Catwoman getting married. This is Tom King, man. You really think it's going to happen and they're going to live happily ever after?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't either.
My theory is this is all a ploy by Catwoman to get something, to get the Wayne fortune or something.
You think she's playing a long con?
Yes, she's playing the long con. Yeah.
I don't think so, but I think somewhere something is going to go horribly wrong.
Well, I know there's a bunch of lead-up issues to the wedding that are going to involve a bunch of villains. So there's a bunch of one-shot things.
Yeah, those will start in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because you're on issue 43 or 44 now, and the wedding is issue 50 because
right.
Yeah, it has to be because issue 50. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
anyway,
you don't know who Tom King is. He wrote that Visions book that we rave about all the time.
Yes. So, it's not going to be as simple and straightforward as it appears to be.
Yeah. By the way, going back to comic books being expensive, I read an article on Major Spoilers this week that I actually tweeted out on our Twitter feed about how DC and Marvel are both, and Image are doing $1 or doing lines of $1 comics, and they're really just reprints of stuff that's a little older.
Sometimes just 3 or 4 months older.
Yeah.
Sometimes just 6 months older, if not long.
And Steven, who's Steven Schleicher, who was writing the article and who runs Major Spoilers, his whole point was, look, if you can sell them at that price, why is anything at $3 and $4 and $5 and $6 and $7 and $8.99?
Yes,
I get it for special books, but like you can sell more comic books at a lower price than you can what you're doing right now. You will have a wider audience base. You'll sell more comic books.
Yes.
So why aren't you doing it?
I don't.
And dude, he speaks the truth.
I don't know. I dude, because I don't want to give away. Well, let's not talk about it because Jason and I and I may have talked about it a while back on a podcast, but I don't want to do it again. But Jason and I had a conversation one day about his profit margin and what it costs Marvel to make these books. And anywho, Amazing Spider-Man 32.
Great book.
Great cover, man. Dude, Alex Ross he's Alex Ross, man. He is just, anywho, this
By the way, Alex Ross, if you want a signed Alex Ross comic book of one of his covers, it's going to cost you either $75 or you have to be Chris Hardwick. Because I follow Chris Hardwick on Instagram, and he was showing off this huge thing of Alex Ross stuff that Alex Ross just sent him in the mail. And it's like original artwork and covers and, all kinds of stuff, dude. All of it signed. And I was like, oh my gosh. Dude. To be Chris Hardwick. Chris Hardwick, a guy who could afford this stuff, getting it for free directly from Alex Ross.
Dude. Anywho, this is a Norman Osborn issue. And it's a very good Norman Osborn issue. And it's help me out here. When did Spider-Man infect him with nanobites to keep him from becoming the Green Goblin again? Which is what's happened. He's at some point, Peter Parker injected him with nanobites, and they're counteracting the Goblin serum, so he can't become the Green Goblin.
Normally you get a little notation from the editor there, but I don't remember. Probably the last time they fought, I guess.
Well, the last time they fought, he was the Goblin King, and he had all those people in the sewers, and
No, that wasn't Norman Osborn.
that was back in Superior Spider-Man, wasn't it? Or
No,
was it before that?
that was the dude that's been the Hobgoblin a couple times.
Yeah, but I thought Norman was down there too. Maybe not.
I don't think so.
I'll try and have the answer by the time we get another issue. Anywho, he's trying to counteract the formula and become the Green Goblin again. His face is still messed up from the encounter they had a few issues ago. He's seeing doctors, he's seeing chemists, he's seeing everyone. Doesn't work. He finally climbs a mountain to where he's been told some mystics can help him. And he gets there, and they know who he is. And there's this emerald there. It's called the Emerald Oracle of Icon. And he has to put his hand over it, and then it shows them how much mystical ability he has before they begin training him. And at that point, he begins his training. And you see everything he does. He chooses an animal totem. Eventually, he's perfected who he wants to be. He's perfected arts. He's chosen the animal he wants to be. And he brings Spider-Man there magically. Doesn't want to put the tiger mask on that chose him. He wants to put the goblin mask on. And at that point, it's like, hey, I'm just going to kill all of you and take over everything. And at that point, by this point, you're at page 19, and you realize that the Mystics actually saw this and refused to train him and turned him out.
Right. Like everything we saw, that training that he went through and all that was actually just the vision from that crystal.
That's what would have happened if they had trained him. And they saw that and decided not to. He apparently didn't see it. They decided not to train him and turn him away. But he realizes, oh, I can be the Goblin again because you guys aren't training me because I'm still the Green Goblin. That means I can become the Goblin again. So there's hope. And the issue ends with he laughing like a madman on top of the mountain in the Himalayas.
Yeah. And having known a little bit about what's coming, he's Norman Osborn. He's going to achieve this goal by any means necessary.
Yeah. Yep. Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider #7, which was another good issue. We got some good books this week.
Yeah. Okay.
You apparently didn't enjoy this.
It was better than the last issue, but I've not enjoyed this series at all. So, what's her name?
It's Rick
Jones's wife,
former wife, who is. Go ahead.
She touched Kane on the forehead, and now he's dead. So, wondering how she was able to do that. Ben Reilly says, "Hey, how'd you do that?" And it turns out she's actually Death. The avatar of Death, the one that Thanos is in love with. Yeah.
Hangs out with Deadpool occasionally. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, which they talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually she gives some interesting perspective on her relationship with Thanos.
Yeah. And with Deadpool.
Deadpool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's Death, but she's interested in Ben Reilly because he's died more than anybody in existence. And unfortunately, what that's done is it's corrupted his soul, and if he happens to die again, his soul's going to shatter and be lost to time or whatever. So she's interested in him and says, look, you're going to have to change your ways and be the best person you can, or otherwise your soul's going to be destroyed. And he's like, okay, well, let me start with this. Bring back the two people you just killed, Kane and the little girl. And she says, no, you got to pick one. And he says, okay, I choose me. You kill me and bring those two back. She refuses to do it. He beats the crap out of her, which I have a problem with. Even though she is Death. But in the end, she does bring the two of them back, and he's gone through something himself after this brush with Death that he's had. Something's going on with him too. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm with you.
Yeah. Anyway, it was better than it was better.
You're just not into it, are you?
Not at all.
Okay. I mean, we don't all have to like every book.
And it's just not my thing. This series is going to go on for a little while longer, so
I'm pretty sure I enjoyed Gwenpool this week, and you probably didn't. That
Gwenpool.
brings Gwenpool.
Yeah, I like Gwenpool. It was good.
Okay. All right. That brings us to our X-Men's book, which include X-Men Blue number 11. Hank Pym, the Beast, has been fooling with magic for a while now, going back to the previous series, all 11 issues of this one. Turns out he's been being trained by the Goblin Queen, Madeline Pryor. And she's, at this point, corrupted his soul and used him as a gateway into our universe because he invited her in. And she's able to bring herself and all her demons with her because, hey, he said, come on in. It's kind of one of those rules. So the X-Men are fighting him and his, what does she call him? Nextmen? Hexmen. Hexmen. And I don't think these have ever been seen before. I wanted to do a Wikipedia search and I didn't yet.
I don't think so, because we get their origins of some of them.
Right. So we're getting origins, and apparently they're all X-Men who were corrupted in other timelines, and she just snatched them out and brought them to her. And her ultimate goal is, she says, everywhere there's a Madeline Pryor, some are good, some are bad, some are incredibly bad, some are incredibly good, but they're all unhappy and lonely. And I'm going to bring them all here and make them happy. And Jean Grey and Scott Summers use Banff to teleport away and abandon everybody, which I kind of thought was, kind of cowardly of them, but they do. They go for reinforcements, which I guess you got to do sometimes, but,
Well, they were outnumbered. They were outgunned.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You don't leave everybody to die. Maybe you get Banff and take everybody with you. We got another story with James Hudson, and Lady Sinister going on, which I really don't understand because, and I know what Lady Sinister says here, which is James Hudson is an anomaly in this universe because in the 1610 universe, where James Hudson is from, where all these Ultimate characters are from, the X-Men were created. They were created, not the X-Men, mutants were created by scientific experimentation rather than being naturally born with their gifts.
Right.
So he's an anomaly in this universe. And what Lady Sinister, Miss Sinister, whatever her name is, has done is figured out how he was made, taking his genetic code, figured out how he is made so she can make other mutants, however she and probably her dad want to. What I don't understand is, how did she know he's in this universe, and did she draw him here, or how did all this happen?
I don't know. It has something to do with this mother vine thing they keep talking about, and I don't know what that is. I guess we'll find out, but
that's a big storyline coming up for them.
Yeah, they're teasing this big mother vine story, and I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. It's one of the Sinisters, so it's meant to be cryptic and weird anyway.
Right. At the end, one of the Hexmen is probably going to save Hank Pym, and it's not a great issue. It's a good issue.
Yeah, I enjoyed it just fine.
Yeah. Weapon X number 8. What'd you think of
it? So the Weapon X team is still pursuing Weapon H. They throw down for a couple pages and pretty much get their butts handed to them.
At one point, Domino makes the joke afterwards and says, how is it I'm the only one that doesn't have a healing factor, and I'm the only one not in bed? It's pretty funny.
Right, because they get back on their plane and literally all of them are in hospital beds, except Domino.
Yeah, she's the one toting them around, caring for them.
But that's when Logan makes the statement that, you were the weakest, you were the least threatening to him, and he didn't go after you, which means he's working on a moral code, which means we can still talk to him. Now, we meet up with Weapon H after he's escaped. he ends up in some sort of cabin in the snow and gets shot by some guys while he's hallucinating about his family or something. I wasn't really.
Yeah,
I,
I don't know if they drugged him or if I don't know how they did that. But yes, somehow they got him thinking about his family and uh, killed him at the time, or shot him up, I should say.
right. I don't know. I don't know who these military guys are and what they have to do with any of this. Anyway, Laura Kinney shows up at the end, and she's going to join the Weapon X team.
Yeah, so it was a good issue. It was solid, not great, but good.
Yeah.
What I'm really enjoying is Old Man Logan 28. And this opens, there's been this story for the last few issues during this whole Maestro storyline that's going on. What is the storyline called? I don't even know. Anyway, Days of Anger. There's this whole Days of Anger thing where he and Old Man Hawkeye are trying to catch whoever's been stealing Logan's pigs. And he finally catches her, and it's one of the girls from the Hulk gang. Actually, well, it's one of the Hulk kids, except she didn't want anything to do with the Hulks or the Hulk gang. She basically split, said, "Hey, I'm going on my own way here."
Yeah, she ran away. That's why she's stealing his pigs.
Right, and that we find her in the future. She's the one who's been slipping Wolverine information, and the Maestro finds out that they're coming for him. And one of his kids decides he wants to rebel, and he doesn't like the Maestro's leadership anymore. And the old man just pretty much squashes his head. Looks around. Anybody else got any questions? No, good. Okay, do what I said. It's pretty entertaining. Then we cut back to where Logan is in the Yukon territory, and Hawkeye has come to assist him. Not sure Logan wants any assistance, but Hawkeye's there with him anyway. After some banter, Logan agrees to go with him. There's some probably the funniest thing I read this week is the exchange between Hawkeye. And first thing he does is tell Hawkeye to shut up and not talk because he wants silence. And of course he's Hawkeye, so he can't. And so Hawkeye's like, "Hey, in the future, what am I about?" And Logan's like, "Well, you marry Spider-Man's daughter, have a kid, she leaves you for Ultron, you get cataracts, go blind, run drugs for a living, and never figure out how to keep your yap shut for more than 5 minutes." And Hawkeye's response is, "Wait, I married who?" There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they finally find where the Hulks had been and where they had stored all those nuclear weapons. The missiles are there, but they've taken the warheads off of them. And that's when the young lady shows up, tells Logan where to find him because they've got the nuclear weapons and they're sending out the nuclear weapon itself on the back of the Hulks who are jumping to different locations, I assume around the world, to set the nuclear bombs off. And Hawkeye and Hulk are going to go save the day. Hawkeye and Old Man Logan are going to go save the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deodato's art was very good. I'm really enjoying the story. Really, really enjoyed the book.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
All New Wolverine 24. So Gabby's been assimilated by the Brood on this moon of Rydell, where Wolverine and the Guardians have teamed up to take on these Brood. Laura wants to save Gabby, but everybody keeps telling her, she's gone, she's not there anymore. Rockets come up with a bomb to blow up the moon so that they can kill all the Brood. Then Laura starts getting psychic messages from Gabby. She realizes Gabby's still in there. They go to save her. She's able to bust out of the Brood Queen and free herself. That's when we find out that one of the scientists that's been one of these alien scientists has been doing experiments, and he's the reason that the Brood are there in the first place. They blow up the moon with all his research on it, rockets being funny. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
I texted you at one point this week. I think it was text and not a phone conversation.
Yeah, it was about how the Guardians of the Galaxy are written better in this book than they are in the actual Guardians of the Galaxy series.
Yeah. I enjoyed them more in this book.
Because they acted like themselves.
I guess, man.
Drax isn't a pacifist. Rocket's, creating bombs and
ooh, pretty when he blows up a moon.
Yeah, and he shoots the scientist dude at the airlock while everybody's debating about what to do with him.
Yeah, everybody's talking about what to do with him. Or not Drax. Rocket just takes him and shoves him out the airlock.
He's like, yeah, you guys were having a moral conundrum, so I just solved the problem for you.
Yeah, that's what the Guardians ought to be, man. Somehow they miss it in their own book. It's like, and I think, is Colin Bunn writing that now? No, Gary Dugan's writing it, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to do too much in it. It just isn't working. It's like it's just, I don't know. We'll discuss it the next time.
And that's weird because Jerry Duggan is really good at writing certain things, and then he does this on the Guardians. And I have to wonder if this is an editorial decision and not a writing decision.
He talked about it in that Word Balloon podcast where it's yeah, he was told where to go with this because he's
right. I figured as much because it's all ramping up to their big event.
Right, it's all wrapping up to the Infinity event, which will be at the same time as the movie, and et cetera, et cetera. And everyone knows, we've talked about it, and I assume everyone knows, that event's rushed, and this comic book might be rushed too. I think it's not some of his best work. I mean, you look at some of what he's done on Deadpool and some other books. We're going to talk about Deadpool in a few minutes. This is not some of his best work. Anywho.
No, but he's killing it on Deadpool.
Dude, he is, man. Venomverse number 2. We have the Spider-Man symbiote fighting our Venom from Earth, and our Venom from Earth is just getting stomped when the rest of the what do we want to call them? Symbiotes or Venoms, or what do we call them?
Are we talking about the group of the Venoms?
Yeah, that show up and save our Venom from Spider-Man killing the white Spider-Man killing him.
I don't know, the Venom Squad.
Okay, the Venom Squad. Anyway, the Venom Squad shows up and saves him. The Peter Parker white Venom decides it's time to make his escape. And then we find where Captain America was taken to after he was captured, and there's an image of Sharon Carter there talking to him and reasoning with him. They kind of fight Spider-Man for a while, but eventually he exits the scene. Eventually, Captain America realizes this isn't Sharon Carter. This is one of the little plant things trying to convince him to give himself up, and he doesn't. So he becomes one of the poisons, right? Is that what they are?
Yeah, the white Venoms are the poisons.
The poisons, yeah. He becomes one of the poison, as we'll see in a couple of pages.
The difference here seems to be that while the Venom symbiote is in a symbiotic relationship with the host, the white Venoms take the host over. They become the host and they use it for fuel.
Right. So what we decided to call them, the Venom game, Venom Squad. Venom Squad regroups with everybody. They got Old Man Logan there. They got Doctor Strange there. They're all there. And Deadpool just isn't happy because he feels like, hey, we're leading him. We're being led to our deaths here. This is all a losing battle. Then we cut back to the Poison, which are now being led by Captain America. And I'm trying to remember who all this is. It's Hawkeye, Captain America, Scarlet Witch. Yeah, but who is that in the back? Is that a Hawk?
One of them's like darkened out. You can't really tell.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can't make it if that other one's a Hulk or who that is. But anywho, they're having a discussion. Turns out they're being led by Dr. Doom, which is I thought that was a pretty cool reveal in that page.
That is a cool reveal there.
I shouldn't have spoiled it, but maybe I should have. I don't know. We warned you. It's a cool page of art, cool reveal. Then we cut back to the Venom Squad regrouping, and then Deadpool just walking down the street, giving himself over to the Poison, just saying, "Hey, here I am. Come get me."
Yeah, he's been kind of a doom and gloom preacher this whole time, and he thinks everyone's doomed, so he's just embracing it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, the what do we call these? The Legends?
Generations.
Thank you. Yeah, the Generations book.
Yeah, listen. The book's not half bad. I'll be honest. I'm just going to recap it real quick. Carol Danvers and Mar-Vell team up in a time before he knows who she is to fight Annihilus and his forces to liberate an alien planet. That's, let's see, what is it? 32 pages. There you go. It's not that the book's bad. It's just that's really all it is.
Yeah. I'm with you. Next, for our Avengers book this week, we have Uncanny Avengers number 27. We begin with a lawyer being picked up at an airport who is looking for the Avengers. Then we pick up where we left off last issue, which is with Graviton stomping the Unity Squad, the mutants and the heroes that are bonded together. He pretty well stomps them for a few pages, sends Rogue to outer space where Dr. Voodoo has to save her. Puts a beat down on Pietro. Finally, Rogue rallies the troops. She goes over and absorbs his power, and when she does, she absorbs his memories, and she absorbs it all. She absorbs his power, which stops him and stops the attack, but she realizes why he's mad, which is because his power is so all-consuming. He's literally one with the earth and the gravity of it, and it's driven him mad. And he even jokes about being mad early in the issue. And they're like, "You're mad." He's like, "Mad, not mad, insane, crazy."
It seems like every time Rogue does this with her powers, something goes terribly wrong. You think she would learn this lesson?
You would think, but I don't think they had another way to stop him, which is kind of the point of the issue. This is the only way they could stop him. I mean, Snaps' mental attacks weren't working. None of the physical attacks were working. This is the only way they could think of it. So they finally get Rogue calmed down, get her memory right. And then the lawyer shows up and wants to discuss with Johnny Storm the future of the Fantastic Four.
Yep, that'll be interesting too.
Yep.
Then we have Defenders number 5. I'm going to sneeze. Or maybe not.
Just mute it. This is a Punisher issue, and it's pretty good actually. I don't have it open because I'm getting ready for my next book, but it's a good issue with Punisher in it.
Yeah. So they're at the night nurse's office while she's patching up Danny Rand, and he offers to buy the building for her, which I thought was funny. But what happens is what's his name? The bad guy.
The dude with the teeth. I can't remember his name.
Diamondback.
Yes, thank you.
Diamondback is in police custody, and they're going to transport him with the Punisher. So as soon as they put him in the back of the transport with the Punisher, he starts talking crap to the Punisher, insulting his wife and stuff. That all goes south real quick. And then there's something going on with Damian Hellstrom and this lady that they go see that Jessica knows, who we've never met before, and I don't understand her role in all of this. And then it turns out Elektra's been at the Heroes for Hire location recently. And then Black Cat goes back to her apartment to find Diamondback, who puts a bunch of bullets in her.
Yeah.
It was okay. I'll be honest, I feel like Bendis is doing too much with this story. He's trying to cram 48 pages of story into 22. Especially with this bit with the lady that Jessica knows that we've never seen before, and we don't. That's like, let's see. It's 5 pages of of Jessica and Luke having a conversation with this lady who basically says, "I can't help you." It doesn't serve the story at all.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I kind of disagree because that lady's also involved in Jessica Jones' book, and she's kind of a recurring character in the Jessica Jones Defenders book.
Oh, is she? Okay. I've never seen her before. I have no idea who she is.
Yeah. Anywho, Deadpool number 36. We've been discussing where Jerry Dugan is going with Deadpool, and in this issue, we find that he's trying to break into jail, and he finds the Hydra commander that was in charge of sending Deadpool out. And it's it's kind of silly. The dude's still in his costume, still got the helmet on his head. He's wearing the goofy Hydra helmet they haven't worn in years, and he wants Deadpool to rescue him. And Deadpool just puts a few rounds in him because he wanted to kill somebody. Just felt like doing it. He goes and gets. Go ahead.
Pissed.
He is angry at the world, man. He knows he's been played, and he's angry at the world. He goes and gets the last of his cash, takes it over to the Preston household, and gives it to his daughter and her stepdaddy, and says, "Go far, far away." And he's in there just grabbing a bite to eat before he does what he eventually does. And Strife calls him and says, "Hey, you got to kill Cable." And he's like, "Dude, I'm not going to do it." And Strife is in the past with Allie in the past. And he's like, "Hey, if you don't do it, I'll kill her here." And Deadpool eventually just blows the house up, gets everything he owns, blows the Avengers theater up where they were, where the Unity Squad was based out of, and remembers a conversation from, probably 12 issues ago, maybe 15 issues ago, where he and Sabretooth had that crossover, and Sabretooth just told him, "Man, just go away. There's a time that everyone around you is dying, and just get on a bike and ride and leave it all behind." And that's what he does at the end of this book. He blows up Ellie's home. He blows up the theater and just rides away, man. Like, done. Peace out.
Yeah. And now he's on a mission of vengeance.
Yeah. There you go. Good issue, man. Good issue. Everyone thinks he's a villain. He's mad at the world. It's a good issue. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Doctor Strange and the Supremes number 12. That's the final issue of this series. This follows Merlin, who is a past version of Merlin, not the one we saw in the beginning.
Okay.
And he leaves a book for Doctor Strange in his Sanctum Sanctorum. It's the book that contains all the information about all the Sorcerer Supremes throughout time. And it details the final adventure here of they have to go to this island and restore the immortality to the immortal one. There's a number of trials they have to go through. Merlin calls in every Sorcerer Supreme from all across the multiverse, which includes everybody, including Spider-Man at one point.
Was Loki there?
Yes.
Okay.
They achieve their goal of restoring immortality to the ancient one. Zelma Stanton's mad because Doctor Strange has been gone a while. The end. It's a lackluster ending to a half-assed book.
Yeah, there you go. Is this the last issue?
Yes, thank God.
I stopped reading it like 4 or 5 issues ago, man. I was like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah, it started strong, but it meandered so much. I lost the plot in it 6 issues ago.
Yeah, dude. I had trouble keeping the plot in the beginning. Hulk number 10. Now, we've discussed this book a lot because this book won a lot of awards in 2017, and it would have been a 2017 issue. And you and I have discussed the fact that we just don't see it. With issue 10 here,
I see it in this issue.
I do too. That was going to be my point. I really do in this issue. This issue was good, and to me, it's leaps and bounds better than previous 7 issues. It begins with an amazing cover. They're still trying to find Oliver, who's been turned into a monster, and Warren, his boyfriend, are there. Jen tries to reason with him. It doesn't work. She turns into the Hulk, and he wants Jean Jen Walters to kill him. She doesn't want to do it. They wind up fighting on the bridge, off the bridge, onto a barge. And I think who knows if she was really going to kill him when Patsy Walker shows up as Hellcat. I mean, I don't think anyone really knows at that point.
Right. Had she not been there and interrupted it, it's possible that she would have killed him.
Right. At the end, and what's cool about this book and what makes it so good is through the whole issue, Jen Walters is monologuing about reading Frankenstein and being monsters. And then you realize she's beside Oliver's bed as Jen Walters, apparently several days in the future, as he's in a coma and she's talking to him. You know, she obviously put him in a coma. And, the question is she going to be okay? And she doesn't know. She, the verdict's out.
Right. And through this whole thing, you get this kind of exposition from Jen about this time she read Frankenstein and what Frankenstein's about.
Right.
Which is how I can't say more than 3 words without having to cough. It's about, it's not that Frankenstein's monster was evil. Frankenstein was the one that was evil. Regular people are the monsters because they saw him as the monster. He just wanted to be left alone.
Right. Right. Which is what the point of the Hulk in this issue and whatever monster Oliver became.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel 22. This is the wrap-up issue of this most recent story. Kamala Khan has revealed her identity to Discord, who has also been revealed to be one of her friends. He kind of has a reckoning here, realizing, he thought he believed all these things, but now that he sees the truth, he's not sure. He allows her to get away. A group of protesters show up to this mosque that they're holding hostage. There's going to be a confrontation. Lockjaw shows up. Always love Lockjaw. Takes Kamala to a restaurant. She is able to get some lunch and then get back to the fight. I like how she just has time to take a lunch break here.
Yeah. She's got time to chill a few minutes.
And then she goes back and gets in a fight with this lady in this weird armor who's been plaguing her the whole time, whose name I can't be bothered to remember. Who's literally going to blow up the whole city block with herself in it if it means stopping Miss Marvel. She's escalated it to that point.
Right.
Of course, Miss Marvel saves the day and everyone goes home happy.
Yeah. So, Rocket number 5. This is an interesting little book. And I really don't know what to make of it. It's written by Al Ewing. And I don't know, man. I mean, because let's first talk about the structure of it. A lot of it is just one page of art with a column of words beside it. Okay? So it's literally like you're reading a novel with a picture on each page. And instead of word bubbles, you get that. This issue in particular is written like an episode it's written like Ocean's 11. Okay. Like Danny Ocean, like you got George Clooney and Brad Pitt sitting there getting the gang together. Okay. That's how this reads. And you got all these characters, and all these characters, they're obviously alien species, but the recurring theme is several of them are animals. They're fighting this dude who's a beaver. His ex-girlfriend is an otter, and there's lots of credits up there. They got to get the blueprints back. So the whole thing is, how do we get into where he is? And at the end, you find out how he gets in there. And it's got to do with this little baby, man. This little baby like floats in this little egg thing, and they can't decide if he's the devil or a force of good. And finally, at the end, Rocket decides he's just plain evil and the devil. So, anywho, and at the end, when he goes in to fight Beaver Dude, Ada is there, and she realizes it's Rocket and puts a few rounds in him. It's a good book.
Okay.
It's let me rephrase that. It's not a good book. It's
original.
It's different. It's
different.
Yes, thank you. It is original. It's original, and I'm enjoying it. It's just it's different. Yeah, I'll stick with what I originally said. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, it's better than some of the Rocket and Groot stuff that's been out the last couple of years. But it's different. That brings us to Runaways #1.
Yep. Did you
No.
read the original Runaways?
No, and I didn't read this one, and I don't want to.
Okay.
Was it good?
It's not bad. I'm just a little confused because it's been so long since I've read Runaways that I forgot some of the stuff that happened. And you need the context of that series to understand some of the things happening here. But we start with Nico in her apartment. She's trying to make some ramen when all of a sudden her buddy Chase shows up, literally blinks into the room with what's this girl's name? I don't know. One of the other runaways who's been stabbed. So Nico tries to use her magic to heal her. It doesn't really work because you can only use the spell one time. So she has to improvise. She literally summons a doctor into the room and uses her magic to assist the doctor in performing immediate surgery right there in her apartment.
Yeah, okay.
And saves her friend's life, who was supposed to be dead anyway, but isn't. But dude went into the past to save her, but got there too late. And it's good. I need the context of the previous series to understand what's going on.
Right. And sometimes when you don't have that or you're not familiar with it, and then someone tries to relaunch it, you have no idea what's going on, and then you wonder why the book doesn't sell. But the Runaways is like one of those cult things where everybody, it has a very small, very loyal readership base. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, they even made a TV show with Hulu about it, which was I've watched the TV show, which is actually really good. But I just didn't. There's something that happened previously here that I'm not aware of, and it I don't have to. I was able to catch on, but having the context there would be helpful.
Yeah, dude, I'm so far behind on TV shows, man. And I've got, and you may too, I'm sure a lot of people do, have Showtime for the weekend. So I'm recording a couple of episodes of Billions I missed last year. Showtime's got this great special. I think it won awards on Eric Clapton, My Life in 12 Bars. I went through my Amazon Prime video thing this morning, and there was just like 12 new series and movies I want to watch. There's a documentary on Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti album. I mean, it's just, I could sit around and watch TV for the next 6 months and not get everything watched I want to see.
Oh, dude. Same here. I've been dropping TV shows left and right. I quit watching S.H.I.E.L.D. because it was boring, and
it's actually pretty good.
I'm behind on Gotham, and yeah, dude, there's too much good TV to watch.
Yeah,
not enough time to watch it.
Speaking of TV and S.H.I.E.L.D., that brings us to The Secret Warriors, #6, where, as we know, the first 5 issues were all about the Secret Warriors being involved in Secret Empire. And Daisy Johnson, Quake, is on a mission, and she is determined to find. There's really 2 stories here. You find out what Moon Girl and Duder are up to. You find out a couple other things, but really, you got the Daisy Johnson story and the Karnak story. And Daisy Johnson is just going around interrogating people, then murdering them until she finds out where Coulson is. Then we cut to Karnak.
Dead.
Who killed Coulson? I'm sorry. Which she knows he's dead. She wants to, find out
Trying
who.
to find out who killed him.
Right. The first guy is a former Hydra commander who tells her it was Deadpool, and then she begins looking for Deadpool. Next, we cut to the Anilix offices where the dude whose name I can't remember, Hura. He's Medusa and Black Bolt's son.
Or son, or one of the Royal family.
Yeah. Karnak wants a job. He won't give it to him. And as he's leaving, Karnak says, "Hey, man, you need to keep up with those TVs you got coming out of North Korea. You know, you might have problems there."
No, it's definitely
not North Korea, somewhere. Yes, wherever. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Russia.
The Far East. How about that?
No, it's not the Far East. It's Russia.
Wherever. It's irrelevant.
It's Charnaya. It's right there next to Siberia.
The point is, at the end of the issue, the manufacturing plant's destroyed, the shipment's interrupted, Karnak's right, and dude says, "Find me Karnak." And I was confused as to whether Karnak knew it was going to happen by watching the news and watching what the company was doing, or if he made it happen.
He knew it was going to happen.
That's what I thought. That was my conclusion. So then we go back to Daisy, who hires someone to kill her, and she actually uses Deadpool's drop to hire someone to kill her. Instead, because Deadpool isn't answering his phone, she gets Taskmaster. She and a naked Dum Dum Dugan LMD defeats Taskmaster. She's about to kill the Taskmaster when he's like, "Hey, wait, maybe I know where Deadpool is." She tells him where to go. So when she gets there, it's Bullseye, not Deadpool, except Deadpool is actually out in the waiting room. And, you know, Bullseye says, "Yeah, that's where he is."
Yeah.
Yeah. And Daisy's on a mission.
Yep.
It was a good issue. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't half bad.
Yeah. You want me to do Gwenpool number 20, or you got it?
I got it. Gwenpool has met her evil doppelganger self from the future, who's trying to kill Spider-Man. A lot of this it gets into why Gwenpool turned evil, and basically evil Gwenpool explains, look, given the powers that you have, knowing all this stuff about the comic books, you can do almost anything.
And none of it matters because none of it's real.
Right, because the editors are just going to go back and change it. None of it's real.
Right.
But what regular Gwenpool has come to figure out is that to her, it has become real.
Yes.
And that she would rather adhere to this world and live in this world as if it was real, rather than become this villain. And that's really the meat of the book, is her confronting her future demon self and dealing with that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to give you a page by page because it's really just a bunch of exposition.
I enjoyed the art more than I have been enjoying the Gwenpool art. Really enjoyed the colors. I really enjoyed this issue. I did.
It was better than most. Too bad there's only 5 issues left.
Yeah. Next, I don't know why, we have the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. And I have 2 problems with this, too. Number one is you take a character of Ultron, who is an icon of the Marvel Universe. Okay, he is He's Ultron. I mean, you got the Avengers 2 movie about him. He's been, even in this issue somewhere, they flash back to all the fights he's had with the Avengers. And you turn him into a mechanical T-Rex with Ultron's brain. That's the first issue I got with it. Okay, you've taken a great hero or villain and turned him into a laughingstock. Secondly, isn't he still up in Alaska where he's still Pimtron?
So, you know, the Squirrel Girl tends to play fast and loose with continuity. So, you know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's in continuity at all. I mean, because
It is
don't
at some point.
understand. You know, then you got Squirrel Girl going toe to toe with Ultron. Let's seriously,
Yeah, she's unbeatable.
dude,
She can take Ultron. She took Doctor Doom.
dude. I'm just
The book is meant to be silly.
it's meant to be. We've discussed many times. This is not. It's not for me. Maybe it's for you. It's not for me. Yeah, I didn't, dude.
It is not for me, but I can appreciate it. Much like cartoons like Adventure Time, it is not for me, but I can appreciate what it is.
Right.
I enjoyed this issue.
Yeah, I did not.
Part of what makes it funny is that Ultron is supposed to be this super serious villain, and you turn him into a dinosaur.
Yeah, okay. And I understand that's a form of sarcasm. I get it.
It's not sarcasm, it's humor.
Yeah, okay. I did. This wasn't for me. And I'm not banging on people who enjoy it. It's just you know. Next up, we have Vision's director cut number 4. That Vision book, that's what I enjoyed. Okay, that's a great book, man. I enjoyed the art better. I enjoyed Tom King's writing better. In this director's cut format, we're getting issues 7 and 8 this time.
Sure, but you understand that Vision and Squirrel Girl are two entirely different things.
Of course.
And they're meant to be.
Yes, of course. That's why I said this Vision number 4, the director's cut, is my type of book as opposed to Squirrel Girl.
Or Zombies Assemble 2, number 2, which neither of us read, and we're just going to mention it's there.
It's just there, man. It's there. Knock yourself out.
Yeah. Moving on to our Star Wars books, we have Star Wars 36. If you remember from a few issues ago, C-3PO has been captured by the Empire. R2-D2 took it upon himself to fly an X-Wing to the Star Destroyer holding him and is going to stage a one robot rescue mission, which he does in spectacular and hilarious fashion through the entirety of this book. Even going face to face with Darth Vader. It's good, dude. You should go read this. It's good.
Okay. I might.
Dr. Aphra 12. Pardon me. The two murder droids have summoned Darth Vader to wherever it is they are in order to coerce Dr. Aphra into setting them free, which she agrees to do and does. Then she's got to escape this planet before Darth Vader can catch up with her, which she also does.
Okay.
So, yeah, well, sort of. What happens is that she ends up stuck between the fight between Darth Vader and Roar, the immortal Jedi robot guy. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what happened there.
There you go. What was your favorite book this week?
Huh. You know, Star Wars 36 was pretty good. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Right. I have several candidates. Amazing Spider-Man, Old Man Logan 28, that Deadpool book, which I enjoyed all of. I'm going to go with that Old Man Logan 28. I like that series. I like Deodato's art. I like the writing that's going on there. I like that. I like the whole Maestro storyline. I really enjoyed that book.
Yeah.
Cool. But the Venomverse was really good too. I was surprised how much I'm enjoying Venomverse.
We had some good books this week, dude.
We did. Yeah.
In the dump this week, we had Strike Force Morituri number 14 through 31. I have no idea what that is.
I don't either. I just looked while you were talking about something, and issues 1 through 13 are there. If you just want to start at number 1 and read it, God bless you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's about. I mean, I should have Googled it, but I didn't.
To do that, I would have to care. I don't. Maybe I should.
Some
Maybe I
comics
should be
not
more
related.
dedicated to our podcast, to helping our Unlimited people know what's in Marvel Unlimited, but I'm not quite that dedicated.
Yeah. Clearly it's something you and I have never heard of, so clearly it can't be that important.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I remember Force Works. Okay. I remember the West Coast Avengers. I remember the Thunder, you know, the second Hulk we had that looked just like the other guy. Okay. I remember some bad comic books. I don't remember this ever. It's never mentioned, and I don't care. Yeah. We have a What's Next episode out there for Black Panther now. We'll have a What's Next coming up for the Maestro. I tried to finish that so we could record it today, and I just didn't get through with it. I was even skipping pages and hurrying, and I just couldn't get it done before we started recording.
Right. Future Imperfect story, which introduces the Maestro from what, like 1994 or something like that?
Yeah, it's early 90s. Yeah. It's a Peter David series from early 90s. We'll probably do a What's Next but at some point next month about the Infinity Gauntlet, which, you know, maybe Marvel will actually get around to putting all those books there, but probably not. Why would you do that when you have a major movie coming out?
Actually, it means they'll probably will put it out.
Maybe. We'll see.
They tend to line up their releases with the movies, so I can see them doing that.
Yeah, of course, a lot of those are Silver Surfer books, and of course, they now own the rights to Silver Surfer again, so maybe they'll throw them out there. Who knows?
Right. Well, they always own the printing rights to Silver Surfer.
Yeah, but they don't own the movie rights to him.
Right, but that wouldn't prevent it from being on Marvel Unlimited.
I ain't there yet.
No, but that's not why.
Okay, if you say so.
Yeah, it's the movie rights, not the publishing rights.
I never understand why things are and are not on Unlimited.
I don't know why you struggle with that, but okay.
Because to me, it's a no-brainer. You hire some programmers for about 3 months and you get all this old stuff in there. Okay, you look at the gaps that you have in books that I can just rattle off, and you put them out there. And instead, we're putting the Strike Force book out that what? I got one of the most classic storylines of all time, Silver Surfer and the Infinity Gauntlet and Thanos, about 12 issues of it that you can't get on Unlimited. And you're giving me this stupid Strike Force book, 30-something issues of it. Sure, okay. That's why I struggle with it.
Everything can't appear there overnight.
Okay, why didn't you put these 12 issues of Silver Surfer there instead of this Strike Force book?
I don't know, man.
I don't either. And you ask what irritates me about it so much. That's what irritates me. That's why I'm just like, what? Who's planning this? Who's thinking this out?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Anyway, if you want to share your thoughts about it with us, please email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
The website is www.6monthsbehind.com, where I'm trying to get it caught up.
Right. And Pat, before we go, do you have any wisdom to share with our true believers?
Life would be funny if it weren't so tragic.
Don't I know it?
Get some rest, man. Take some cold medicine. Take some NyQuil and just sleep for like 18 hours.
That's what I'm going to go do. All right. See you guys next week.
Peace.